My best guess is that he went to the Milo-Yiannopoulos School of Gay Stereotypes, just picked some random and said, good enough in a last-ditch attempt to garner sympathy points when he is so obviously in the wrong, even in his own story. I did not have a, quote, love of musicals and theater when I was 4 because, you know, I was 4. I did not know what these things were. Of course, not only is Elon Musk a piece of not only is he a deadbeat dad, he's lying. Because they're all lying. They're all grifters. So if you don't know, the other day, Elon Musk was having a conversation with, oh, bloody hell, Jordan Peterson. And they were talking about all kinds of stuff. Peterson was trying to push eating all meat on him. It wasn't taking. He wasn't into scurvy. Couldn't get him onto scurvy core. But they did have a lot of conversations. And eventually, Elon Musk explained his comic book origin story. And it's that he's a deadbeat dad. That's basically it. He's a terrible father. And then unlike other terrible fathers, you know, who don't pay alimony or are abusive or stuff like that, he simply wants to turn it into a cause. So he's not like comfortable with just being quiet or going to the cracker factory like a Kirk Van Houten. He actually ultimately wants to make it everyone else's business. And so he said that the woke mind virus effectively took over his daughter. And took his daughter. He said horrifying things. He misgenders her. He dead names her. He in a post accused her of being gay and autistic and exploring things. He pushed the conspiracy theory that trans people don't exist and that it's just you know, boys who maybe want to experiment with playing dress up as girls and girls who would dress up as boys. Again, it's like it's infuriating for so many reasons. Not just because the science is so far beyond the lies and propaganda he's pushing, but also the fact that, like, even if you want to take the science and the facts away for the feeling side of things, you know, as a cis guy, I never in my life thought once that I'd been misidentified as a boy. Like, that thought, I didn't even know what trans people were, and that thought never once crossed my head. I never once was like just thinking like, whoa, maybe I'm actually a girl, because like I had friends who were girls, I had girlfriends, I hung out with women, and I certainly knew, like, you know, that I was very like attracted to women, that I liked women, that I always found them beautiful, all that kind of stuff, and at no point was I ever going through like, maybe I am also a woman, and that's why I'm so like, no, I don't know a single other cis dude who can say that. I've never talked to a cis guy who's like, oh, I definitely went through the feelings. Like, that's very different than exploring femininity. Like, very different than playing dress up, very different than wanting to wear women's clothes. If you were someone who was putting on, like, you know, women's panties and then suddenly thinking like, oh my God, what does this mean? Stuff like that. It could mean nothing. It could mean something else. It could mean something like, it's not indicative of that necessarily, you know, you on that spot, just like, oh my God, this is saying something to me. Like, it's like, no. People can explore expressing their gender in a variety of ways. And the idea of a man, say, wearing lipstick or wearing nail polish or wearing eyeliner, right? Like things that you see a lot of straight men do. They're only allowed to do it if they're rock stars, unfortunately. Otherwise, it's gay and gay bad. So you got to be a rock star to be able to do that and then you're cool. Yeah, but if you're not a rock star, then people are going to be like, hey, what's going on there? That's a little bit strange. But no, the truth of the matter is you can explore gender without necessarily being trans or gay, but you could also be trans and gay, and that's totally okay too. All amazing. So Elon Musk is a scumbag, terrible father, really, really gross, transphobic, bigot, anti-Semitic fucking asshole, you know, far right soothsayer at this point, and did all that on the Jordan Peterson Daily Wire special. And so Jordan Peterson's daughter actually has spoken out. Vivian, Elon Musk's daughter, speaks on her father's lies on Threads. There's a lot of stuff I need to debunk, which I will get to, so don't worry. But I want to start with what I find the funniest, which is the notorious, quote, slightly autistic tweet. This is going to be a bit, so just bear with me. Elon Musk dead names his own daughter and says, was born gay and slightly autistic, two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. I knew that from when she was about 4 years old, and she would pick up the clothes for me to wear, like a jacket, and tell me it was fabulous, as well as her love for musicals and theater. But just continuing to do it. This is entirely fake. Like, literally, none of this ever happened. Ever. I don't even know where he got this from. My best guess is that he went to the Milo Yiannopoulos School of Gay Stereotypes, just picked some random and said, good enough in a last-ditch attempt to garner sympathy points when he is so obviously in the wrong, even in his own fucking story. I did not have a, quote, love of musicals and theater when I was 4 because, you know, I was fucking 4. I did not know what these things were. My earliest real experience with musicals was when my twin brother had a Hamilton phase in like 8th or 9th grade and overplayed it so much in the car to the point where a long time I swore off the entire genre. Which, of course, not only is Elon Musk a piece of shit, not only is he a deadbeat dad, who like at least Kirk could make an album. You know, he made Can I Borrow a Feeling? I'm seeing nothing from Elon Musk. What he's got? Can't Check Your Vibe. He's lying. Because they're all lying. They're all grifters. Elon Musk craves adoration and online adoration. Specifically, he is a evil nerd. I can tell you this as a non-evil nerd. He's a nerd, but he's an evil nerd, and he's one of the same, like, he's got the same nerd inclinations like I do towards video games, towards playing video games for a very long time, and video game culture and posting about it, that kind of stuff. I love electronic music as well. A lot of people got mad at me for making a joke about him and psytrance. I'm not, like, psytrance and electric cars can be great. They can also be horrifying in the hands of the evil nerds, is all I'm trying to say. But he's a liar. And in pursuing wanting to be 4chan daddy on, you know, Hitler's Bunker, the app, he got to the point where now he's got to go on Jordan Peterson's show, and they both just lie to each other. Like, Jordan Peterson lies to him that he's happy. He's not. He lies to him that he's healthy. He's not. And then they just go back and forth. And he lies to him about what the woke mind virus is, and that how I lost a child, and it took a child from me, and all this kind of shit. It gets worse. I never picked out jackets for him to wear, and I was most certainly not calling them fabulous, because literally, what the fuck? I did not use the word fabulous when I was 4, because once again, I would like to reiterate, I was 4. Like, this is so obvious, I don't even think it warrants explanation, but apparently people believe this nonsense, so here I am. This entire thing is completely made up, and there's a reason for this. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because, quite simply, he wasn't there. And in the little time that he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. Obviously, he can't say that, so I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype of an F-slur, along to use at his discretion. I think that says a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. As for I'm not a woman, sure, Jan, whatever you say. I'm legally recognized as a woman in the state of California, and I don't concern myself with the opinions of those who are below me. Obviously, Elon can't say the same, because in a ketamine-fueled haze, he's desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and quick mess who are quick to give it to him. Go touch some fucking grass. Extremely shocked to hear this, that the D-bag is a liar. I hope you're not too bothered about what he says about you. I'm not, lol. I've just started to find it funny at this point, calling me dead on a podcast with Jordan Peterson, of all people, while basically admitting that you have zero reading comprehension by saying you were tricked into signing documents that you read over multiple times is basically a parody of itself. Like, it's honestly camp. Beautiful. Beautiful, first off. I love the shade. And also, way to fight back against that fucking asshole. Yeah. Fuck Elon Musk. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. Giga Stacy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to promote her at just because I don't know if she wants love bombing, even if it's from a positive way. But I will say that just because your dad's a piece of shit doesn't mean that you're not fucking amazing and a hero, and clearly you are, and the last thing you need in the world is some cis dude's validation on a show. Time to mansplain this to you. Thank you for having the courage to fucking tell everyone the story, because this at least might get a handful of the weirdos who listen to the kind of shit he says to be like, oh, well, I didn't think about the 4 years old part. That, fair enough, because I too was 4 years old, and I too was not using terms like fabulous, because again, I was 4, so I don't really remember. I was probably into the cartoons a lot. I really liked TMNT and DuckTales, maybe, but I don't know if I was even too young for that. 4, you probably could start watching like DuckTales, right? So there's that. Oh, I sleep in a Cybertruck, do you? I'm a pretty big wig at the Tesla factory.
So, you know, they call it dead naming for a reason. Yeah,
All right, so the reason it's called dead naming is because
it's bloody in the Bible. It is. It's in the Bible.
your son is dead.
In the Bible,
So my son
Elon.
Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
Hold your goddamn horses for 5 more seconds, okay?
Oh, so disgusting.
It is Vivian Jenna Wilson. I'm just gonna come on here and say that I'm doing well, and I am formulating a response and whatnot.
I was just like, wow. Let's listen.
Wilson, I'm just gonna come on here and say that I'm doing well. I'm doing fine, actually. And I am formulating a response and whatnot. It's being worked on. It's being worked on. Just hold your goddamn horses for 5 more seconds, okay? I promise it's getting worked on. It is Vivian.
She delivered. Elon Musk's daughter fires back after he says she was killed by the woke mind virus. Vivian Wilson, who legally changed her name and gender after her 18th birthday, took to threads to say that her father is distorting the facts around her transition. In a disjointed 2-hour conversation streamed live on X, formerly Twitter, on Monday, Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk discussed topics ranging from Christian imagery to the carnivore diet. But it was Musk's comments about his estranged trans daughter, Vivian Wilson, whom he dead named and misgendered repeatedly, that caused the biggest stir. Now, Wilson, 20, has started to tell her side of the story. Musk had painted himself as a victim of Wilson's gender transition and legal name change, claiming that he had been tricked into signing, or sorry, she had been tricked into signing paper. Oh no, he had been tricked into signing paperwork that allowed Vivian to go on puberty blockers. Referring to Wilson with male pronouns and by her birth name, Musk lamented that, and then moved on there. On Thursday, Wilson pushed back against Musk on her Threads account, first challenging a Monday tweet in which he had again dead named and misgendered her, and claimed that she was born gay and slightly autistic. Musk had said that he had known this from the time when Vivian was 4 years old, as Vivian would pick out clothes for me to wear like a jacket and tell me it was fabulous, and loved musicals. There's a lot of stuff I need to debunk, which I will get to, don't worry, but I want to start with what I find the funniest, which is the notorious slightly autistic tweet she wrote. This is entirely fake. Like, literally, none of this ever happened, ever. I don't even know where he got this from. My best guess is that he went on Milo Yiannopoulos' School of Gay Stereotypes, just picked some at random and said, good enough, in a last-ditch attempt to garner sympathy points when he is obviously in the wrong, even in his own fucking story. And you all know who Milo is. In a subsequent post, Wilson wrote, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I disowned him, not the other way around. Indeed, when legally changing her name and gender in 2022, she told a California court that she no longer wished to be related to Musk in any way, shape, or form. By that point, Musk had already tweeted criticism of preferred pronouns and said he might support Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who he had signed with the state's controversial Don't Say Gay law into that year. As for Musk's claims that she demonstrated passions for musicals and fashion as a child, Wilson went on to say that her father's account makes no sense, since four-year-olds aren't aware of such concepts. This entire thing isn't completely made up, and there's a reason for this. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he simply wasn't there. And in the little time that he was, I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness. Wilson then brushed aside Musk's insistence that she's not a woman, noting that she's legally recognized as a female. Musk himself, she said, is lost in a ketamine-fueled haze, desperate for attention and validation from an army of degenerate red-pilled incels and pick-me's who are quick to give it to him. Musk has talked openly about taking ketamine for therapeutic purposes. He's also, by the way, boasted multiple times that, never been to therapy. He's got so many tweets like that, never been to therapy, don't need therapy, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, who the fuck is prescribing you ketamine then? Like, is that just a whatever you want kind of rich people doctor? Is that how the whole thing works? Or just a sit down like, so what do you want? Not what do you have or what symptoms would you like me to help alleviate, just what do you want? Like, yeah, I don't know anything. Yeah, I got the page right here. Just tell me what you want, how much you want of it. I will sign this piece of paper. I will hand it to you. You will then go pick up those drugs, and you'll hand me money. You'll hand over lots of money to me. But then, yes, I'll sign it. Wilson elaborated on some of the comments she made in her Threads post, an exclusive interview with NBC News. Musk's recent statements crossed a line, she said. I think he was under the assumption that I was going to say anything and I wasn't just going to let this go unchallenged, which I'm not going to do. Because if you're going to lie about me, like blatantly to an audience of millions, I'm not just going to let that slide. Wilson said that for as long as she could remember. Musk hasn't been a supportive father. She said that he was rarely present in her life, leaving her and her siblings to be cared for by their mother or by nannies, even though Musk had joint custody, and she said Musk berated her when he was present. He was cold, she said. He's very quick to anger. He is uncaring and narcissistic. Wilson said that when she was a child, Musk would harass her for exhibiting feminine traits and pressure her to appear more masculine, including by pushing her to deepen her voice as early as elementary school. I was in 4th grade. We went on a road trip, and I didn't know what was actually an advertisement for one of the cars. I don't remember which one, and he was constantly yelling at me viciously because my voice was too high, she said. It was cruel. Musk didn't respond for requests for comment. He's an abusive father. That's what happened here. For the man who's got clearly an impregnation fetish and a pushing for the white supremacy agenda of making sure that white birth rates are at their utmost highest at all times, while vilifying immigrants kind of a guy, he at the same time refuses to look after his own kids. Like, I have absolutely no problem with people having children, and especially if people are having children, please do so because you want a child and you can love a child. That's the most important part, that you're willing to love the child, and the child doesn't owe you shit. That's like that the weird way that somehow some kind of twisted conservative view of this whole thing where like, and then the child must be obedient to their parents in all things and all matters. It's like the kid does not like have to change themselves for you because you don't agree with how they were born, right? And you want them to live a certain way or be a certain, or even be a certain gender. Like, again, cis people have to wrap their heads around the fact that, like, that never happens to us. We don't get that, you know, like, I didn't even need to think about this concept at all. My entire, it was just like this, it was so default, and then just like, you never, you know, no questioning, no blah, 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 no, none of this, no parents being like, you know, at this point, sure, your voice isn't dropping. It's like, no, you're becoming a man, son. I am becoming a man, you know, all that kind of shit. Musk, 53, is amongst the wealthiest people in the world through his stakes in Tesla, where he's CEO, and SpaceX, which he founded. He's also become a significant political figure, having endorsed former President Donald Trump this month for another term in the White House. Musk has 12 children that we know of, including Wilson. Now a college student studying languages, Wilson has never granted an interview before and was largely out of the public view. She did, however, attract attention in 2022 when she sought court approval in California to change her name and in the process denounced her father. I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form, she said in the court filing. She told NBC News at the time she was surprised by the media attention with the court filing, which she submitted when she was 18. She said in an interview that she stands by what she wrote, though she said she might have tried to be more eloquent had she known the coverage it would get. Wilson said she hadn't spoken to Musk in about 4 years and that she refused to be defined by him. I would like to emphasize one thing. I'm an adult. I'm 20 years old. I'm not a child, she said. My life should be defined by my own choices. Musk threw a spotlight on Wilson on Monday by speaking about their relationship in a video interview with psychologist and conservative commentator Jordan Peterson, streamed live on X. You know, the dead naming, the whole thing, you know, she was killed by the woke mind virus. I lost my child. And in a post on X, Musk said Monday that Wilson was born gay and slightly autistic, and that at age 4, she fit certain gay stereotypes, such as loving musicals and using the exclamation fabulous to describe certain clothing. Again, I think she was right on the money. He picked like the lowest hanging fruit of gay stereotypes. That like, yeah, you know, she was just walking around going fabulous and that like just loved playing dress up and all that kind of stuff. And so I knew that, you know, obviously I had a gay kid, and unfortunately the woke mind virus at that time had, you know, infected her, and she unfortunately succumbed to it. Yeah. And like that, you're just a terrible, shitty, abusive dad. Honestly, that's all this is. And like I said, other people in the past can be abusive pieces of shit and not try to turn it into a fucking movement. Not trying to get other people involved too, to be like, yes, I too now believe in the woke mind virus, and I believe that it is insidious and it is spreading trans ideology upon the world. He doesn't know what I was like as a child because he simply wasn't there, and in the little time that I was relentlessly harassed for my femininity and queerness, I've been reduced to a happy little stereotype. I think that a lot about how he views queer people and children in general. In recent years, Musk has taken a hard right turn into conservative politics and has been waging a campaign against trans people and policies designated to support them. This month, he said that he was pulling his businesses out of California to protest the new state law that bars schools from requiring the trans kids be outed to their parents. On X, Musk has for years criticized trans rights, including medical treatment for trans-identifying minors and the use of pronouns if they are different from what would be used at birth. He has promoted anti-trans content, called for arresting people who provide trans care to minors. After Musk bought X, then known as Twitter, in 2022, he rolled back the app's protection for trans people, including a ban on using dead names. Musk told Peterson that Wilson's gender transition has been the motivation for his push into conservative politics. I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. So pathetic, so sad, you know, like.
And personally, I think that's a belief for wankers.
Wilson was also mentioned in a biography of Musk by author Walter Isaacson, a book that she told NBC News was inaccurate and unfair to her. The book refers to the politics as, quote, radical Marxism, quoting Musk's sister-in-law, Christina Musk, whom Wilson said she is not a Marxist, though she said that she does oppose wealth inequality. The book also calls her by her middle name. Wilson said Isaacson never reached out to her directly ahead of the publication. In a phone interview on Thursday, Isaacson said that he reached out through other family members. Wilson told NBC News that for years she considered speaking about Musk's behavior as a parent and as a person, but that she could no longer remain silent after his comments on Monday. She said she had never received an explanation for why her father spent so little time with her and her siblings, behavior that she now views as strange. He was there, I want to say, maybe 10% of the time. That's generous, she said. And he had half custody and he was not fully there. It was just the fact of life at the time, so I don't think I realized just how abnormal of an experience it was. Wilson said she came out twice in life, once as gay in 8th grade and a second time as trans when she was 16. She said that she doesn't recall Musk's response the first time, that she wasn't present when Musk heard from others that she was trans, because by then the pandemic had started and she was living full-time with her mother. She's very supportive. I love her a lot, Wilson said of her mom. The pandemic was a chance to escape Musk's cruelty, she said. When COVID hit, I was like, I'm not going over there. It was basically very lucky timing. Musk told Peterson in the interview that he had been tricked into signing documents authorizing trans-related medical treatment for Wilson, an allegation Wilson says isn't true. I was essentially tricked into signing documents. This was before I had any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on. Wilson said that in 2020, when she was still a minor at 16, she wanted to start treatment for severe gender dysphoria, but she needed consent of both her parents under California law. She said that her mother was supportive, but that Musk initially wasn't. She said that she texted him about it for a while. I was trying to do this for months, but he said that I had to go meet with him in person. At that point, it was very clear that we both had a very distinct disdain for each other. When she eventually went and gave him the medical forms, she said he read them at least twice, once with her and then again on his own before he signed them. He was not by any means tricked. He knew the full side effects. She said that she took puberty blockers before she switched to hormone replacement therapy, treatment that she said were life-saving for her and other trans people. They save lives. Let's not get that twisted, she said. They definitely allowed me to thrive. She said that she believes the requirement to obtain such treatments remain onerous, with teenagers pressured to say they're at extreme risk of self-harm before they'll be approved. She said that she felt judged by Musk and Peterson in the Monday interview for not being at a high enough risk in their eyes. I basically put into a point where, to a group of people, I have to basically prove whether or not I was suicidal or not to warrant medically transitioning, she said. It is absolutely mind-boggling. And, like, thoroughly and utterly disgusting, too. Like, Musk is just such an enormous piece of shit. So, you know, good for Vivian. What a legend. Honestly, it's one of those things where Musk, yeah, 100%, such an abusive deadbeat dad, so fucking thoroughly divorced that he thought he was just going to do this kind of thing. And again, to please Ian Miles Chong, you know, for what? For what? You know, it's so fucking disgusting. And now, yeah. It caused his own daughter to come forward, make a statement, come in front of all of this and just be straight up like, he was just an absentee father, an abusive father, a piece of shit, and that's all there is to it. None of that is true. I am not like, you know, a secret gay boy like Musk is implying, like all this weird ass shit like that. Like, Jesus Christ. One of the slimiest motherfuckers that are on the face of the earth. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincell, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.